Well, hello, everyone. We are live. I'm Denis Santos. And well, let me introduce you to Francisco Dacaret and Javi Santos Dacaret, my brothers. So we are here to talk about sticking to our roots. We've been doing a lot of work in worMoon, and we did a heavy pivot around November last year. Originally, we worked under a common business model of the game for mobile. We thought about doing what everyone else was doing of ads and microtransactions because we wanted to reach out the most audience possible without thinking more about what the business model meant. And it, it, it didn't reflect what we are. So we did a heavy pivot around that. And in reality, we are really happy to announce that we removed everything around that business model. We are sticking to our roots, and the premium version of worMoon Awakening is coming and is releasing worldwide. So I want to hear a little bit about that from Francisco and from Javi, why we did that pivot and what it means to us right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess at some point we miss the old games. Like you bought a cartridge and then you just put it on your console, and that was the game you got. Like with bugs, with speedrun bugs and everything you had. That was like the last release. So games had to be released like in perfect state. And today is not so much. Like you can update a game right after release on day one. So you can forget a few bugs, but that's become like a norm. Like sometimes when I buy a game, I like to wait, unless I really, really like it. I like to wait a month or two because I know that's when the game will be polished. And that wasn't the case back in the day when we played. Uh, Same thing with the microtransactions model. This is the case now. This is the case where some companies are looking for a live service game, for a microtransaction, because it's the most profitable one, or at least we thought so. But in the end, with our early access, we saw that it wasn't that. Uh, if we wanted to do it the ethical way, it wasn't the best for our business model, for our game. So we enter in the field of ethical video gaming, or video creating, and something like what Mark Cuban did with his pharma business. Like he took all the some of the generics pharmaceuticals, and then he said, "I'm only going to profit 15%. Whatever we make, will profit 15%, not a penny more." And with that, he had a huge success in selling some of the medicines that we see, the generics in the States. I think that the industry will, especially indie games, will come to uh, that concept, like ethical video creating. You create your game, you get your investment in return, and then you profit a margin that it's enough to make the next game, and of course to make a living out of it, because you can make games as a hobby. Uh, as much as we want to, it's a lot of work, and you do need to pay your bills. So in the end, I think that's the most ethical way to go forward, and that's what we want to. We want a return on investment and a little bit extra to create the next game and see the studio grow.
In my case, I think I agree with most of the stuff that both of you said. For me, it was the thing that when we initially like were seeing options for what would be the pricing for the game, I recommended free games because like I'm 22 and all like I think I have never bought a mobile game in my case. But I used to buy a lot of stuff for PlayStation and stuff. And I think because I played a lot of games for PlayStation, um, those are the games I usually want to play. And the fact that we are going more closer to that type of model, I as Denny said, we're going back to that route of like buying a game and getting the content uh, that we want to have, to play. I think the microtransactions have their place in the industry, but as Francisco said, doing ethically for a game of our size, it's very difficult. Like, and I've always been surprised, and I admired like games like Guild Wars 2, where like for $60 you got like 2,000 hours of gameplay, right? Which is such a steal to a certain extent, but like the passion that teams like that have to put a game like that and release that content, I think the three of us can say like we wanted to create something like that for people. Not 2,300 hours like I put on Guild Wars 2, but have a game that you can buy and that you won't feel cheated on, and that it will release when it's good, like it won't release with day one bugs that are literally meant to be day one bugs. If there's day one bugs, we'll fix them because that's out of our control, but we don't want to release a game knowing that there's bugs that we could have prevented. So yeah.
And funny thing, what you mentioned, that today I just learned that the creator of Jagex and one of the creators of RuneScape, one of the oldest and most successful MMORPG, just announced a new MMORPG that's been 10 years in the making. And that like he felt that he wanted to announce it when it was ready. And everybody's excited because RuneScape, even though I don't play it right now, it's one of the most successful MMORPGs. And so there are a lot of people that still want to make the better game that they can make, and they want to deliver it when it's ready. But some of the bigger studios, especially the ones that are not under a gamer leadership, they're under a financial leadership, and they just rush the game out of the doors. And we've seen it time and time and again. And this year has been exceptionally good for indie games. Like they're just blowing up. I'm talking about Helldivers 2. I'm talking about Palworld. I'm talking about Enshrouded. I'm talking about Last Epoch. They're by far not considered AAA games. And the first quadruple A game that came out, which was Skull and Bones, just failed miserably. So people are tired. People are tired of receiving not completed games, receiving less than ideal games, maybe prototypes of games. We just don't want to go on that road. We tried. I mean, we thought that was the way, but we now know, as Dennis said, we need to stick to our roots. We need to stick to what we love. We need to stick to what gaming is for us. And if that works, so be it.
This is the way. Yeah.
This is the way. Yeah.
No, exactly. And Javi said one of the things that practically made the decision a little bit harder. It's pretty common that every mobile game now it's free. To buy a mobile game, it's one of the strangest thing to do nowadays. So even though we know that we are sticking to our roots and we are doing our premium version. From the beginning, we decided it was going to be a mobile game because our target audience was ourselves. We always thought about a game that could be played with only one hand because in that time when we started making the game, I was holding my first baby on one hand, and I could only use the other hand to play. So we wanted to create something that was easy to take, easy to play, easy to put down, with only one hand, and that's why we started working on a mobile game and a card game, and of course we wanted a game that you could actually finish, a game that had an end, because when you start your family, when you start having kids, it gets a little bit harder to focus on a game for hours, on a specific time and everything. So we leave a lot of games halfway there. We can't finish it, and we felt nostalgic to play a game from the start to the end, and see the story evolve in the gameplay and everything. So on mobile game, we are pretty accustomed now to have games that stick you with daily tasks, daily rewards, that you have to daily log in, and you have to play at least 30 minutes, 1 hour to a day to get the most of it. If not, you have to pay a lot of money. And of course, they practically reside on buying microtransactions, on playing ads to make the game profitable. For us, in the early access of the game, we put ads, we put microtransactions, but none of those options were none of those options were obligatory for predatory or obligatory for the player. You could you can even now play the game and complete it without seeing one single ad, or without paying one single dollar, and you wouldn't feel that wall of playing the game, and you have to play for hours and days and everything to finish the game. One of the recommendations that we received after that we released the early access was, okay, so now you should put psychological measures to keep the players playing in the game, and you have to retain them 7 days, 50 days to see profits. That's when we hit the ground. That's when we said, we don't want to do that. We won't do that. So that's why we are doing this pivot. We are taking the ads off. There's not going to be any ads on the game. There's not going to be microtransactions in the game. The game will be downloadable free, because you will be able to play the first part of the game for free. It's like a demo, and afterwards you will have the options to unlock the full game. That's it. There's no other thing. Possibly, we hope that we can make a DLC afterwards to get a little bit deeper in the story. But that's the whole thing about the new business model. And as Francisco and Javi said, that's what we are as a players right now. We want a full experience. We want a game. We want a full game that we can practically play as we want, in the time that we want, without getting stuck on some paywall that we will find in a given time of the game. Javi, you were going to say something, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to expand. When I said that I didn't buy games when I was young, I was because I didn't have money. But like lately now, since I'm working like so much on the game, and and when I was in university and stuff, like I didn't have the time to play games. And whenever I wanted to play games, it was so disheartening to download a game that I thought was interesting, and half of that time it was like full of ads. And I appreciated that we always like kept it to the very minimum, and because we were not trying to be predatory, obviously it wasn't working for us. But I really appreciate that. Like I'd rather pay for like a game that I can play for the little amount of time I have sometimes because of work, than having to like spend the time actually watching ads. And the other thing I was gonna say is like it's very rare nowadays to see demos on games. And I think having a demo on the game is actually like great, because if you don't like it, then it's fine, you know, like you don't like have to pay for the full price of the thing and realize like, damn, wasted money. Because like as the industry progresses, some people just cannot buy multiple games, right? So if you like the game, then amazing, you know, like support us, you know. And even if you don't like it, like at least know that um, we're a good studio doing good stuff, and like support us in other ways, you know.
Of course, and that's why we are, of course, being honest here that we made a decision on the early access, and we are pivoting from there. It's not an easy task to make a video game. We didn't had any experience when we started. We did a lot of changes during the development. We got stuck a lot of times. We reworked the code, we worked the music, the illustrations, and everything. And in the financial side, it's pretty difficult to maintain a project so long without having revenue. Then even then, we are sure of the decision we are making. And of course, we admire a lot of indie developers that are following the same path because they want to make something memorable. That's what we are making now. We are proud of our game, and we are making something really memorable. We have so much stuff planned for the premium version of the game. Uh, we are not going to get too much involved right now, because the point of the talk and everything was the pivoting from the business model of the game. But of course, we are doing a lot of stuff. There's new enemies, there's new combos, new abilities. There's a new progression system that is really amazing. And of course, I'll leave Francisco to talk about the experience of the new build that we're testing out, and afterwards I'll leave Javi about talking about the music and everything behind the lore that we have on the new build.
The goal of making a card game was to, first of all, it's one of my favorite genre. I'm in love with the new card game inside the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, QB, and it's like so amazing that you can create a mini game inside a game like The Witcher 3 did, which they were inspired by. And there's something always scary about card games, which is creating your deck and knowing when to play. Like it's really strategic, and we didn't want to lose that. And then again, we wanted a game that was easy to get into card games. So when you play our game, worMoon Awakening, you will see that creating a deck is not difficult, and making decisions, it's really on the fly, but it doesn't feel easy to, I mean, you have to take some decisions and make some decisions, even though they are fast decisions that will help you or doom you. So you gotta think fast and carefully at the same time. But we remove the need of thinking a lot about the deck that you will be using. We remove some of the RNG that comes with drafting a lot of cards that are inside your deck and some cards that you won't be using. And in that sense, we receive a lot of feedback from the early access that it didn't feel like you were doing something, like you were executing an action, but you didn't feel any feedback. So we improve a lot of that. We improve a lot of the animations, a lot of the damage that you as a player do, and the damage that you as a player receive from the biome and from the mobs. So we're really excited for you guys to try that out. And I really think that it's important, as Javi and Dennis said, that any game has some type of demo, or even as the Steam store has the 2-hour mark. Like you can download it, try it, and if you like it, that's okay. Uh, because there's so many games right now, and there's simply just not enough time to play everything. I mean, I guess there never was, but when we were playing Super Nintendo, we felt like we could play any game. Like we played, everybody had to play every game there was. And now we know it's not true. Like, but at least the games that we play here in Honduras, uh, we played them. Same with Nintendo 64. Same with PlayStation 1. Yeah, when we got to Xbox 360 and PlayStation 2, we just knew it's impossible. We cannot play everything. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that we need to change as an industry. We are now in both sides of the hobby that we love. We are players and we are video game creators, and we are seeing a shift in the structure, in the finances of the games, that we are not liking it, and the players are voting with their money. They are not buying those games. They want something better, and we are trying to create in our way something that you can like and you can try for free. And if you like it, just support us by buying the game.
Before going into like the music and stuff, I just wanted to add a little bit to Francisco's point, because I was telling Dennis in a conversation we had this week, I was like, the way that if we do a great game and it gains traction with the community, I know it will be good. And sadly, because there's so many games right now coming out with terrible like stuff, and like it's nice when games like Lies of P, for example, get the recognition, because it's like it's noticeable they put their heart to that project, so um it's sad how, as Francisco said, we need to change as an industry, because it cannot be a thing where like we have to pick and choose which games are good. It should be a thing where everybody's trying to make good games, not for just cash grab. But anyways, going to the music stuff, um, it is exciting. I went crazy on January, as I said in one previous video that you saw on Instagram. It's been a lot of work, but it's been very exciting. My mentor, who I want to thank here, Gavin Fraser, has been like coaching me, because whenever I was doing my degree in piano, I was kind of alone, just like learning stuff by myself. So it's nice to have someone tell me how to polish stuff and to deliver something good for you guys. So I'm really excited for that. And you have heard some of the stuff for the music, so I'm not gonna like expand on that. But world building has not been mentioned as much in socials, so I'll take the time here to like say that one of my things that I'm passionate about, I could even say as equal as music, is writing worlds. I love like worlds that you can get immersed in and that have such deep lore, characters, factions. It's just incredible. Like Lord of the Rings, like all the From Software games, like Hideo Kojima. It's just like it's nice when a world is built with so many factors in mind. So I wanted to create, obviously not as a huge experience with worMoon that it would be so overwhelming, because like we also wanted to make it approachable, but we wanted to have as much lore that it wouldn't feel overwhelming to casual player. But if you want a deep dive and you want to learn more about the world, there's going to be a bestiary with like dedicated stories and descriptions about characters. And I don't know what the future holds for us, but comics maybe. Dennis, you can confirm or deny, but The important thing you need to know is that at some point we will develop the story of worMoon, even if it means not doing it in a video game medium, because I think we're building a rich world, and I think people should enjoy it.
Yeah, amazing. We have a lot of things coming in the premium version. In our social media, you will see a lot of posts uh, um, showing a lot of new stuff coming. We are not spoiling a lot of stuff of the game. We are trying to focus only on the demo side of the game, the one that that everyone will be able to play. And as Javi said, and Francisco was telling, there's a lot of good games out there. We know that we are not the only one. It's a game that's not for everyone. So we wanted you to try it out. If you like it and you want to support us, unlock the full game. And of course, we are working hard on making it a really good experience, a complete experience. We are working on a lot of stuff and a lot of new systems added into the game and improving a lot of the part of the visuals, illustration, music, and everything to make sure that this is an experience you won't forget. And now, of course, I understand why a lot of developers said when they are asked when is the game coming, well, when it's ready. Uh, we want it to be a really good experience. If there are bugs when the premium version comes out, it's because we couldn't found them, not because we didn't try to test everything out. The testing phase of the game has been the hardest. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, but we want everything to be working great. Currently, we have a demo running. It's a public demo that you could see, that you could test. There's a lot of stuff changing, and of course, you could try it out. We will share the link here, and we want you to try it out to give us feedback because we are improving a lot of the things that you try in the game, and of course, we want to, of course, make it an approachable card game. As Francisco said, it's of course a deck building game, but we wanted to remove the heavy lifting of the game. We wanted to be an approachable card game, and one game that you can play it, put down, and of course when you start the game again, you remember where you are at, and practically that's it. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Chico or Javi.
I'm just happy to have you guys helping us out and just try our game, help us try it out right now in the beta phase, and when it releases, when it's ready, just give us a hand trying it for free, and if you like it, support us by buying.
Um, I know I said I didn't want to say anything else, but I have enjoyed doing a Discord conversation with some of the people in the Discord that I don't know. I don't know who they are, but it's amazing just to have conversations and be like, "Oh yeah, I like the game too," you know. So yeah, don't hesitate to reach out in Discord. I love geeking out about stuff, so let's geek out together.
Amazing, amazing. And we are heading to the GDC next week. So if any of you are going to be there, please let us know so we can meet up, have a conversation and everything, and talk about worMoon and of course the games you like that we can try to mix and match our tastes. So we hope to see you on our Discord. Join us, play the demo, and of course try to give it a try. The game you have there, the availability to test it out, and of course we hope you love the game once you try it. So see you soon. Bye everyone.